So in this video, we're going to talk a little bit about Diatomaceous Earth. It's one of those topics that's very controversial in nature. So I thought I'd talk about it, kind of give my 2 cents. I encourage you guys to do your own research on it and kind of take a look at it, see if it's something for you. But I'm going to include this in the Prepper Dog series. I think that it brings up, if anything, good conversation points that we should be talking about and we should be addressing. Like I said, I'm not here to sell you on anything. The whole purpose of this video is just to open your mind and really talk about the topics and concepts that we should be talking about. In this case, we're going to be talking about digestive tract health, parasites, both externally and internally, and then talking about bones and their fur. So I think when we're talking about this overall, these topics, I think it's very important that we do talk about dog health and how to keep their health even in a time of crisis or a time of need. So I'm going to show you guys how I give it to her, and then we'll kind of talk about some concepts afterward.
So this evening, we're going to talk about Diatomaceous Earth. All we're going to do is take 1 tablespoon of Diatomaceous Earth and put it in her food. Just like that. And now I'm going to tell you why. No doubt this will all be gone in a few minutes. She pushed the bowl all the way to the wall and licked it clean. So this morning, we're going to put some more Diatomaceous Earth in our dog food here. And again, the bowl's been licked clean.
So, you guys saw how I give my dog the Diatomaceous Earth in her food. Now let's talk about it. So before we get too deep down into it, we really need to make sure we differentiate the 2 different kinds of Diatomaceous Earth that's out there. And this is going to be super important in, understanding what it is we're talking about. So you have 2 different kinds. You have food grade Diatomaceous Earth and you have pool grade or industrial Diatomaceous Earth. And they're very, very different. So what Diatomaceous Earth is it's silica, which is essentially fossilized remains from aquatic life. That's what silica is. And what it does well and how it is really good, especially from an insecticide point of view, is it's fossilized and it's ground into a powder, and that powder is very sharp. It's detrimental to insects, deadly. But to mammals and mammal life, it has no effect and actually has a lot of net positives. So the difference between the food grade and the industrial grade silica is its profile. So when silica is heated up, the profile on that changes from just a normal silica to a silicon dioxide or a crystallized silica. That changes the profile, and that makes it very toxic and dangerous to biological beings. So the stuff that's used in pools is great. It is this silicon dioxide profile that's really good at filtering out pools and stuff like that. So it's great for the industrial uses, but it's very detrimental to biological life. So it's very important that you understand the 2. If you inhale silicon dioxide, yes, that can be detrimental to your body. The studies I've shown from inhaling food grade, 100% all natural, just silica, I haven't seen any detrimental studies that have been cited. In fact, I've seen some that show that there have been no found detrimental effects. And I'll leave all this information I have in the description box below. So it's really important that we differentiate those 2. The stuff and just so we understand, food grade is considered anything 1% or less silicon dioxide, and then industrial pool grade is 60 to 70% of that silicon dioxide. The stuff I use is 100% pure silica, no silicon dioxide, no crystallized silica, just organic, crushed up, powderized, fossilized aquatic life, so to speak. And so what makes it really good as an insecticide, like I said before, it's very sharp. When it's crushed up into a powder and insect comes in contact with it, it cuts it deep. It cuts it and kills it from the cuts, or it cuts it and it dries it out. It dries the insect out. So that's how the Diatomaceous Earth works as an insecticide. Outside of being an insecticide, silica is really good, or Diatomaceous Earth is really good for a couple things that I'm going to mention that are not really controversial. One is cleansing the digestive tract. Silica is naturally negatively charged. So when it comes in contact with viruses, when it comes in contact with other impurities, it cleanses, and it's really good for the gut microbiome. It's really good for digestion. It helps improve cholesterol levels and heart health. It improves and provides the body with trace minerals. It also improves bone health, coat health, and nail health. So overall, it has really a lot of net positives. Now, and also topically as an insecticide, it works great. If you have a dog with fleas, mites, ticks, that kind of thing, and you put the Diatomaceous Earth on the coat, or you put it on the bedding, and a bug or insect comes in contact with it, it will do a great job at killing the insects. Now, where the controversial part comes in is internally, and also just to further harp on the topical insecticide. If you eat bread or any kind of flour or grains, chances are you're already consuming Diatomaceous Earth. The food industry the grain industry uses food grade Diatomaceous Earth in their flours, in their grains, because if an insect goes into their grain reserves, it comes in contact with the grain and the Diatomaceous Earth, they'll die before they can eat up all the grain and soil the grain as much. So it's right now used in everyday industry uses as far as the food grade. So we know the food grade does a great job in being a topical insecticide. Now, as far as internally goes, that's where the controversy happens. So what people will normally do is they'll cite this source that I have in my description box below. Basically, they looked at the beef industry did a test on how effective it is as a wormer. They took some steers, they took some cows. In the steer group, they had one that was treated with Diatomaceous Earth, one that was not, and they pretty much saw similar results in the parasite load of the steers. They saw no real difference. With the cows, they had two control groups. One control group was treated with Diatomaceous Earth, the other one wasn't. The one that was treated with Diatomaceous Earth did have a reduction in parasite load, but it wasn't what they considered to be significant. So based upon that study that was released, people say that it has no effect on parasite load. And then I found another article where they did it on chickens, the same thing. They took roosters. One group was fed Diatomaceous Earth, the other one was not. They found no significant difference. And then for the laying hens, they had two groups, one that was fed Diatomaceous Earth, one that was not. And the one that was fed Diatomaceous Earth did have a reduced parasite load, but again, it did not deem it a significant difference in parasite load. So we do know that there are groups that being fed Diatomaceous Earth did have a reduction in parasite load, and what one deems significant, is really, that's up for discussion itself, but that's where people are getting this efficacy from, that it doesn't work internally. Now, I'm not trying to sell you on either or. I think it's important that we talk about, though, the efficacy of what we're going to do in a preparedness situation, because this is, like I said, where you're watching one of the Prepper Dog series here. So what's really important is in a situation where you are depending on your preparedness and you are in a situation where you're depending on your preparedness and sustainability, there are a couple of things that we should talk about in regards to ourselves and our dogs especially. You can have them on the best diet in the world. I think my dogs are an amazing diet. And you can look from the videos and you can see kind of what I feed and why. So you can have your dog on an amazing diet, but they might come in contact with parasites or insects. It's going to happen. Parasites and insects are outside. If your dog's outside, they can come in contact with it. Here on our acreage here, she can come in contact with a lot of different things. So it's really important that we think about what's going to happen in a grid down situation, or a situation that is preparedness, sustainability minded, where my dog comes in contact with insects or parasites, or the dog eats something that hurts their digestion. What are we going to do to help that gut microbiome? What are we going to do to take care of those parasites, both internally and externally? And also, what are we going to do for the maintenance of our dog's coat, for the maintenance of our dog's nails, for the maintenance of our dog's teeth and bones? All these things are important because for us, we have clothes. This is what keeps me away from the elements. I can throw on a jacket. I can do these things. I can put on a hat, Your dog doesn't really have that choice. Your dog has its fur, it has its teeth, it has its nails. These are the tools given to your dog. So being able to take care of that and maximize that is important. But all the other things are important too. Gut health, that's important. Insects, parasites. So really this whole video, point of the video is to open up this conversation to what are you going to do if that situation arises? What if you don't want to give your dog harsh chemicals? Or what if those harsh chemicals, even if you wanted to give it to them, are not available? What's the game plan? So for me, what I do, I use the Diatomaceous Earth. I think it's great. From personal experience, I like it. For me, it's very easy to get a big bag of food grade Diatomaceous Earth that's pretty cheap and store it. The bag will last me a year. And every other month for a week, I will feed her a tablespoon of Diatomaceous Earth with each meal. That's how I do it. But you can, like I said, for me, it's easy. It's cheap. It's out of sight, out of mind. And when I use it, I know that at a bare minimum, even if the internal parasite thing is completely ridiculous, which I don't think it is, I think it does have some great benefits of reducing parasite load. But even if you take that one factor out of it, look at everything she's getting as far as trace minerals go, as far as making sure that those viruses and other impurities in the digestive tract are addressed, ensuring that the heart is functioning at its best, making sure that the bones, that the fur, that the nails, that all her external, coat and features are being addressed. I think that alone is significant. And then let's not forget about the topical uses. I can put this on her bedding and know that it'll take care of those insects that try to get in her bedding to get on her coat. Or if I put it directly on her coat, I know that it's going to kill those mites and those ticks and those fleas if she has them. So topically, it's a winner. Internally, it's a winner. Even if it doesn't significantly reduce parasite load, it has a lot of great benefits that I think are very important to be addressed in a preparedness situation. So as far as, your dog being prepared, for me, it's no-brainer. However, for you, like I said, I'm not trying to sell you on Diatomaceous Earth, but it's something to take a look at as far as these are the concepts. I encourage you, what are you going to do in an off-grid situation when your dog comes in contact with a parasite, internally or externally? How are you going to address that? How are you going to address your dog's overall coat maintenance? I mean, diet is good, but this is super important. Her coat is super important. So how are you going to make sure that that stays at tip-top shape? How about digestive tract, gut microbiome? What if she eats something that affects her gut microbiome, his or her gut microbiome? How are you going to address those issues? So like I said, I'm not trying to sell you on a product, but these are different topics that we should be talking about and we should be further exploring. So if you guys like the video, if you have any questions, leave them in the comment section below. And if you guys want to talk about a certain topic, let's get interactive there in the comment section. Hope you guys like the video, and as always, guys, long live the Republic.